Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this special presentation. I am your host, Boom Boom Kaboom. It's Noof Nukem in the room. Yes, it is time to talk about something that many of us have sort of talked about and to some degree even forgotten about over the past year or so. Um, for those who are not in the know, I used to be one of the main hosts for what we call was community game night. I guess for the most part it was Xbox community game night because the majority of the time it was Xbox games. Now I've tried to do community game nights for the PlayStation community as well, but just did not really work out. So I've kind of relegated it mostly to Xbox, which is where the majority of my friends are. And it seems like the majority of people that want to come out and play games seem to be most often on the Xbox platform. So, yes, Happy New Year to those of you who are joining this live stream. We're going to go over some discussion about Community Game Night, what it is, what it means, some of the special I guess the rules and regulations that will circumvent around it, uh, when we're planning to get this on the go, and all that sort of stuff. And I was hoping that we'll get lots of community support here tonight, simply because I want to know what games you're interested in playing. I want to have a set rotation of games, and basically, that way people aren't constantly erasing them from the hard drives. And when community game nights basically start, we're not always trying to figure out what to play. Do I need to re-download it? Do I have all my updates done? That sort of stuff. With hard drive space being at a premium these days, it's very important that we keep a set list of games kind of at the ready at all times, so to speak. What is going on, RWK88, as you stick figure in the house, brother? Good to see you here. See your Wicked Hot is here. And by the way, Hot, I have posted your package, my friend, so it is in the mail. And hopefully you get it in hopefully less than 2 weeks, all the way from Alberta, Canada, to your neck of the woods. It's definitely probably going to be at least 5 to 7 business days for sure. So, congratulations on winning that on the Gaming Fuse, and I hope you enjoy it. But in the meantime, for those of you, again, joining in, hello and welcome. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Um, let's get down to it. So, like I said, it's been a while since we've really done a consistent community game night. There was a period of time when it was going quite well, and between myself and sort of my co host at the time, which was Cerebral Paul, we were doing a pretty good job of maintaining it fairly consistently. And then we had some fantastic help as well from the likes on the UK side of things. They took up the mantle and ran with it for quite a while, and that was Mr. Tushy and Animated Evil. They were kind of doing things over there, and I really don't know what happened. It just seemed like there was a drop off somewhere where people just weren't showing up, and I think there was some inconsistencies with the hosts, and I certainly was partly to blame. And the community game nights kind of dropped off. So I mean, at the end of the day, I've heard lots of people say they'd love for it to come back. And for you guys in the chat and gals, please, let me know. Do you want this to come back? Are you interested in supporting it? Because for at the end of the day, it's great to host it, but we do have to take time out of our lives to make sure this happens, right? And I want it to be a consistent thing. And I certainly, especially come summertime, I don't want to sit here and try to take up a couple of hours of your life and my life to try to host something which I think is beneficial to the gamers and the community, but to basically just turn around and have it spit in my face. So, I think Sunday night's a pretty good time. Most people are off. I know I'm generally off on Sundays. I think the time is not bad. It's going to be 5 p.m. on Mountain Time. It'll be 7 Eastern, and I think that works out to being about 12 a.m. in the UK, which should be technically, it says, would be Monday morning. Matty Burns, what's going on, brother? Yeah, I hear you watching football. I wonder how problematic that's going to be in the winter with football taking place on Sundays. Yeah, man, thanks for stopping by, though. Yeah, I'm going to put out a list of games. We're going to start with a small, select few games, definitely games I think are very popular or have been popular in the past at Community Game Night, and we're going to go from there. But please, in the chat, if you're here right now, drop a name. Put a game down in the chat. At least one, maybe two. Maybe it's a racing game, a shooting game, or an other game. I don't want to just to be all shooters like every week it's Call of Duty and Halo or Gears or et cetera, et cetera. So put a game or two down in the chat just so I can gauge what really excites you most. I know some people are very reluctant to play games on community game night because I've heard this many say, well, I suck at this game and I suck at that game. You know what? I suck at a lot of the games too that are in community game night. Heck, when we do a lot of the racing games on community game night, I rarely ever win because most of the people that play them, they've got their souped up cars, they know the tracks, they're just better than me. But community game night isn't about the wins and losses, isn't about the kill death ratios. We're not counting statistics. Nobody gives a shit. The thing about community game night, the magic of community game night, is just to bring not only the podcast community together, but it's to bring gamers together. A lot of us know each other through the podcast community, but you know what? A lot of us have never actually sat down and played games together, which, is pretty crazy when you think about it, right? Because a lot of us have known each other for years. I mean, I've known Stick Figure for years. I've known Matty Burns and Jesse Darby in the chat. I've known you guys for years, but a lot of us rarely play games, and that's a great list here. We can have Battlefront 2, Titanfall 2, COD, Halo, Gears, Battlefield 2042. Now, the thing with the Battlefield games, I don't know if you can do private matches in them. I know some of the old games you had to rent a server. So, I mean, I don't want this to become an expensive thing. I don't want to be, having, so many people having to go download or go buy stuff just to play. I'd like it to be fairly accessible. I mean, the majority of us have probably got at least one or two, Call of Duty games in our repertoire. I'd say the majority of us have probably got at least a Halo game at our disposal. So, because Halo Infinite is pretty much one of the more popular games, I mean, amongst the Xbox community, definitely that, or perhaps the Master Chief Collection. Now, when it comes to the Halo guys, right there, if we're picking one Halo, which one would you rather have in the rotation on community game nights? Master Chief Collection or Infinite? I could do either one. I still have both of them. I have both of them installed. I have Halo Master Chief Collection installed on my One X, and I have Halo Infinite installed on my Series X. Right? Internet is always a thing too, but that's something a lot of us can't help. Having shitty connections and whatnot. So Infinite says Dreadpool. No, I'm gonna try to keep most of the games. I'll do my best to keep most of the games as what do you call them? Games that are on Game Pass. That makes it a little bit more accessible to probably the majority of gamers out there, because I would assume just about everybody that's in this chat right now, for the most part, has Game Pass. Now, I do have Game Pass, but I only have Core, which means I don't have access to um, as many games as the rest of you would probably have. But I think most of the games that in the past that we've used on Community Game Night, I have already downloaded or I own physical copies of them. If I don't, I will certainly make it a mission to go out and buy them. It's pretty shitty if the host doesn't have the games that we want to play. But speaking of hosts, I'll probably be looking for at least a secondary host as well. I want the secondary host job is just basically someone that can fill in on those weeks that when I'm perhaps not here. Because as much as I'd love to be here every single Sunday, hosting community game, there's going to be weeks when I just can't make it. You know what I mean? So hopefully I'll find a secondary host, whether it's somebody in this chat. Please send me a message and say you're interested. Like I said, it was Cerebral Paul in the past. I don't know if he is still up for that task, but I'll certainly reach out to him and see. But I do like what you're saying. Most like Titanfall 2 is probably a guarantee. The latest Gears 5 is most likely a guarantee. I'm going to say, like I said, Halo Infinite, because most people kind of have it. It's top of mind and it's fairly current, and we don't have to worry about bouncing in and out of different game styles to do Halo Infinite. It's the same style over a course of all the maps, that sort of thing. So, it's definitely going to be that. It's the start of your week. Well, it's going to suck. Like I said, trying to find a time that's optimal for everybody, that's another problem, right? It's been a problem before. It's going to be a problem again. But I mean, overall, Sunday nights is just, for me personally, it's a better night for me. Generally, that's a day that I normally always have off, so I don't have any work commitments. I don't have to worry about trying to get home and get the stuff hooked up and get everything booted and different things, and that's always important. So yeah. But like I said, so here we go. Let's break down what we know. I'm gonna bring it back. We are going to start on February the 4th. That gives everybody a couple of weeks to kind of get geared up, spread the word, tell everybody what's going on. Tim A, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you in the chat. That sort of thing. Well, hopefully you'll be able to make it at least on occasional weekends, Dreadpool, and we may have a few extra one-off community game nights as well. It might be on some different days, but the set day will probably be on Sundays. So again, that is the first Sunday of February, which is on the 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, Sunday the 4th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope you write that on your calendars. What games we're going to start with on the first day, I am not sure yet. I will figure it out. Probably we're going to go with the classic, something that we've grown to love over time. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's not Titanfall 2 to kick us off. Titanfall 2 is a phenomenal game to play on community game nights. We've had a lot of fun with that. Plus, if you're a little short on bodies, you can still go and play the co-op mode, or with some community game nights too. If we're a little bit short on, like getting enough people from the community to actually make a lobby, what happens sometimes is we'll just get 4 or 5 of us and we'll go and form a party and take on just regular people from the online sort of thing, which is cool too. But I mean, really, the purpose of community game night is to bring us all together and have fun against people that won. We're not like skilled veterans for the most part. Most of us in community game night don't sit there and play the same game over and over and over again. Or we're not like MLG level players spending 8-10 hours a day playing certain games. At least the majority of people that I know certainly aren't. So that's really the purpose, is to bring everybody together and just have a great time, have a few laughs. Okay. But with saying that, let's just go over things. I mean, the response to the old community game nights was pretty good for the most part, right? But I'm going to put my hand up and say that I'm guilty as charged, that I always haven't been the best host, and I do apologize for that. And what I mean is that I do have a fairly competitive nature, and sometimes I forget that it is community game night, and we're there to have fun. And I know sometimes, especially when you're bringing in a lot of new people, it's hard to know what to expect. It's hard to know what people are going to say or do when they come to the parties and that sort of stuff. So, but the guidelines or the ground rules for community game night are going to be pretty simple. I don't care what community you come from. I don't care if you're a PlayStation guy, Nintendo guy, and Xbox. That stuff's irrelevant. As long as you love to play games, that's the common ground. That's the common denominator, right? But moving forward with saying that, there's going to be essentially a 3-strike rule. And that applies even to me as a host. And if I can't abide by my own guidelines that we're going to set down for this, then I shouldn't be hosting it either. But essentially, the first rule, number 1, is just have fun. We're there to have fun. So bottom line is, if we're going to have players that are going to come to community game night and they're going to bitch and they're going to whine and they're going to complain that people are cheating and they're going to just unsportsmanlike conduct, I guess is what you're going to say, is if we want to have a laugh, and nothing makes people feel more uncomfortable than someone that's just taking shit too far, and it's like, I don't want this person on my team and I don't want that person on this team, because they're just taking shit too seriously. So we're here to have fun. Sportsmanlike conduct is certainly a big thing. Second is the language. There's language and content. Community game nights are not, this is not Gaming After Dark. This is not the Gaming Fuse. This isn't my podcast. It's community game night, which community game nights are open from anybody who's young to old, doesn't matter the age, but we want to keep it on a PG nature, right? It's fun to joke around from time to time, but when there's a lot of F-bombs and a lot of vulgar language or sexual innuendo or shots taken at people, these are things that cannot happen. And again, it's a 3-strike rule, and we've all been in a community game night before where people have said shit, and it's kind of makes everybody feel uncomfortable, and all of a sudden that lobby went from being like having a great time to all of a sudden everybody's ultra serious. And you know, rule number one, yeah, we don't talk about community game nights. Rule two, we don't talk about community game nights. um but it's pretty simple. Like I said, if you come out, you abide by the community sportsmanlike, and you just, you know, it's okay. You know, you get killed. Oh shit. You know, like, oh darn it. You know, or there's a difference in what we say and how we say it sometimes, right? But the bottom line is just to come out and have fun, and just try to keep the innuendo and the language at a bare minimum at best. I think a lot of times most of us are mature enough to know where people are starting to cross the line. So, we don't bring in religion, we don't bring in politics. I don't even want to bring in like, oh, well, did you see this such and such a podcast? Or this guy is a piece of shit, and this guy's a piece of shit, and I don't like this guy and that guy. Community game nights aren't nights to basically shoot the shit and talk shit about the community, right? If you want to do that, go do it somewhere else. But community game nights, again, it's about gaming. And they're a lot of fun, and they're a lot of fun when you got the right crowd. But we're out there to have fun and all that stuff. And Mary and the Mad, man, it's been a long time since I've seen you in one of my podcast chats. Thanks for popping in, brother. Hopefully you will be part of the community game nights as well. That would be fantastic if we could get you there. The Creamcast guys podcast. No, I never seen who's Creamcast. I don't even know what they are. Um, Absolutely, Iceman. It's all about gaming. And speaking of people that have been amazing people to have in community game nights, Iceman certainly one of them. He's old school, been there for a long time, since day one. We have a blast, guys, and I don't expect everybody to show up for every single game, but the object of community game nights is to get enough people in our circle so that each and every week when there's a game night announced, we don't have to wonder who's showing up. Like, that you're going to fill up one way or the other. I'd rather have the problem of turning people away than the problem of always going, well, okay, you knew this community game night was happening, you knew the game was happening, and I go and I turn on the Xbox and I open up the party, and I'm sitting there for 20 minutes after the fact we should have been started, and I'm still waiting for people to show up. Okay, like I said, I want to bring this back. I'm willing to bring this back. I want to make it succeed, but I can't do it without your support. I'm not bringing this back just to sit, like I said, to waste my Sunday evenings to turn on the Xbox and nobody shows up, right? We have to make a conscious effort to make this work. And that isn't just by the hosts alone. It's people that actually want to do this and want to show up and play. And maybe it's not a game that you're not that good at, but play it anyway. Like, come out. If you're free, you got nothing to do, you're not taken up with your kids or your wife or whatever, boot up the damn game and just join the community. It's great for shits and giggles. It's good to have a laugh. And you don't get better at games if you don't play the damn things. I mean, even I can tell you that. I've gotten better at games that I don't play simply by showing up and playing them. And again, it's not about kill death ratio. Nobody shits up on the leaderboards here. We're just here to have fun, right? Um, Yeah, it's all good, man. Like I said, I'm just putting this out there. This is a feeler. Like I said, this community game night could die as quickly as they bring it back. But I'm not gonna do this every year or every 6 months. What if people are too busy? Who knows what you're gonna be busy with? But that's the thing. I'm hoping that if our circle is large enough, it doesn't matter if, well, next week, you got 10 people watching a football game or a hockey game. The point of the matter is we'll have enough people in the community game night circle. I mean, the fact that alone flabbergasts me is that I've been doing podcasts now for nearly 10 years. It's not like I'm a stranger to the majority of people in the community. My channel's not that strange. I mean, I've got close to 1,800 people following this channel, and I'm pretty sure if they're following this channel, they're pretty much gamers. People in the community through the X app. I've got 6,000 people there, and you're telling me that we can't get, 25 or 30 people signed up for a community game night? It just blows my mind. But people tell me, unless they're blowing shit up my ass, oh, we'd love to play. We want this to play. We want it to happen. We got to make it happen, people. That's the thing. We got to make it happen. You can't keep talking about it and not doing it. It's not going to happen in a zone, you know? And it's very, very simple. How community game nights work if you're not uninitiated, it's simple. I start up an Xbox party. All you have to do is add me on Xbox or send me your name and I will add you myself. And when I go live and I have the party open, you just jump in the party. There's no need to sit there and wait for an invite. If I have my parties open, if it's community game night, then you know that, okay, NUFA is on, the party is open, we're playing a game here in 10 minutes. Get your ass in, we get the games ready, and we do it. It's that fucking simple. I don't like sitting there and having to send out 50,000 invites. You know the game is going, you know what time it starts, load it up, have it ready. And that's another. And this is why we're going to have a set list of games. You're going to know at least a week in advance what game we're playing, because nothing pisses me off more than getting there at fucking 5 o'clock or whatever time it is to start up the goddamn game. And people are like, oh shit, I don't have it installed. Oh shit, I don't have it updated. Well, you know what a pain in the fucking ass that is these days, because every game is like 50 gigs or more. You know, so yeah, most people have Game Pass. Is it? But this is why we want to have a set list of games, because you can't if you can't have like 40 different games and changing them all the time, because what's going to happen? People are going to delete some, they're going to add some. Look, I've always said this right now as an Xbox guy. I don't ever delete my Forzas. I don't delete my I don't delete my Forzas. I don't delete my Gears, and I don't delete my Halos. There's usually 3 or 4 games that generally do not come off my hard drive, simply for the fact that I know at some point I'm going to be playing them again. And they're massive downloads, which means they're not easy. Like Call of Duty, if you play Call of Duty all the time, don't delete it, because it takes too long to get it back ready. What's going on? We got Mugs E in the chat. We got our Rob, our WS friend. What's going on? Jesse Darby is here as well. Fantastic list of people, and a lot of people in the chat right now who are regulars to the old community game nights. Now, whether Mr. Tushy and Animated Evil want to carry up the torch as well and bring it back as well from their neck of the woods, it was great. I loved how it worked, because they used to come on early and they would do the UK side of things. And then by the time they were wrapping up, then I'd be starting. And then a lot of times we'd get players come over from the UK game nights into the North American game nights, so to speak, right? I'm already breaking the rules. Well, this ain't the community game night. This is my podcast. But no, I've actually got, believe it or not, I've actually gotten rid of all my COD games. So yeah, I don't know. Where are we at here? Yeah, like Fortnite. Let's say Fortnite, right? Fortnite, can you do private matches on Fortnite? This is the thing I need to know, because I don't know. I've never tried to do them on Fortnite, right? But I know with Battlefield you have to rent servers, so that's out. I'm not paying money to rent a server for games. Like, that's just stupid. Halo is definitely going to be one. Halo Infinite, Gears 5 most likely. You know, maybe even the older Gears games, if enough people have it installed. Now, I can at least tell you the good news with an older Gears game, whether it's, say, Gears 2 or Gears 3, is that those games don't take up very much room on the hard drive at all. So, you know, it wouldn't take you very long to download. Yeah, we're going to be, Rocket League will be one. Perhaps a game like Golf with your friends. There's games like Uno. There's probably going to be some games like, you know, the Monopoly games or some of the board games once in a while. What's going on, Seamus Kelly? Good to see you in the chat, my brother. Well, I have the time. We have the set time. I just told you. So it's 5 o'clock Western, which is Mountain. That is 7 p.m. Eastern, and I do believe that's 12 a.m. If you're in the UK. If you're in Great Britain, I guess you could say. So that's essentially on a Monday morning. It still sucks. It's going to really suck, obviously, for people across the pond. But there's nothing I can do about that, you know. But there's the times. Among Us may also be. Among Us has a much smaller total, I think, for people that can play. But what we'll do in the games, like I said, if we have a lot of people on a certain night, so you know, we want to, you know, there's going to be nights when you're going to have 8 people in a community game night. There's going to be community game nights where you got 16, 20, perhaps more. There's going to be game nights where there's more people than we can fit into one party, right? So we'll just have to judge those according. We'll have to juggle them a little bit, that sort of stuff. But that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, and to that, our Rob, it doesn't matter on community game nights if you're there at minute one, or if you're there at minute 20, or if you're there at an hour later. But generally community game nights, if we got a good turnout, those community game nights are generally anywhere from 2 hours to 5 hours. They can go for quite some time. It really just depends on the mood, how people are doing, um, that sort of thing. It just really comes down to the crowd, the mood, and the games involved, right? So all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that sucks, AP. Like I said, I understand that community game nights and the times are not going to work for everybody, but I could have picked Friday or I could have picked Saturday. This is the problem. I have to settle on a day, and I have to settle on a day as a host that kind of works out universally. Sunday generally tends to be one of the best days. I've talked to people before I started this, and they kind of said Sunday's actually pretty good, especially a little bit later in the evenings. Like a lot of people are generally home. They're already back from vacations, or they're back from doing whatever they were doing. A lot of people have Sunday off, usually as a holiday or just a day in the week. So I think Sundays work fairly naturally, but they're not going to work for everybody. And it's unfortunate, but that doesn't mean that we can't do some special one-off community game nights. Maybe things are going good and the community's coming back, that we can't do one on a Friday evening, like a special community game night or something like that. So, yeah, man. No, I can't do them early. Like Sundays just don't work to do them early. There's too much stuff on the go. I wish I could do them at like 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, but it's just not going to work. Like, being that it's my only set day off a week, I don't want to have to commit myself to early. That's the whole reason I gave up Good Morning Xbox, because I was, losing too many Sundays, which meant I couldn't be with the wife, or I couldn't get out on my motorcycle, because I'm tied up half of the friggin' morning doing podcasts. So, like I said, guys, there's no perfect time for this, but we're going to try it out, and I'll give it about 3 months. And if the turnouts are good for the first 3 months, I'll gladly continue. If the turnouts are abysmal, then we'll shut it down, and that'll be it. That's the end of it. Like I said, you better play if you want it to stay. It's that simple. I can't make it any simpler than that. And I'm not here to justify or curse anybody out for it, but that's what it is, right? If you want something, you gotta support it, and that's bottom line. So, but yeah, I'll definitely get some games on the list. Like I said, I know we got a few already, being that'll be Gears 5, Halo Infinite, Titanfall 2. As I said, some of the ones we've had, we got Party Animals, we got Uno, we got Among Us, we got Wreckfest, we got Forza. Usually the Forza Horizon series is a better one for community game nights because it's a little easier to facilitate a lot of players, and you can have a few more shits and giggles than just an open track or set track racer. But that doesn't mean we can't do like what we call a racing night game night. Add Rocket League as well. Yeah, Rocket League is a little difficult because it's like a 2-on-2 kind of a deal, or a 3-on-3 or something like that. But um, what we'll probably do on community game nights, if we're playing a game like Rocket League and there's too many people to facilitate on one game, is we'll probably host like a couple of different parties, or we'll have one party kind of going, but different people will host the game itself, right? Four on four, right? So all 16 of us could be in a party, but somebody would take over and host one game, and somebody else would host the other game, something like that. So yeah, like Uno's a great game. Like little card games, I'm fortunate with Uno. I think it's only like 4 players too, but um, those are the great nights. Again, we could do much the same. If you're doing Uno, you could have 4 people playing one match, 4 people on another, and essentially then the winners could take on the losers, or et cetera, et cetera. There's plenty of ways to definitely work around that for sure. So you can't find any podcasts at 3 a.m. That's a good time for you. If you like playing games like early in the morning, Jason Max, yes, 3 a.m. Go for it, my friend. I won't stop you. But everybody is welcome. That's the thing. And it doesn't matter if you're 10 years old, you're 16 years old, you're 55 years old. Everybody is welcome. All skill levels are welcome. There's nothing worse, than people thinking that they shouldn't come out and playing game night because people are good and this one's good. And look, you can't deny it. Everybody is going to have their game, right? This is what bugs me too, is that some people only come to a community game night if they know it's a game that they're fantastic at. I want to change that too. I want people to come out and play games they're not so good at. I'm not that great at all the shooting games, but I'll come out and play them. I mean, I might be better at Gears um, than some of the people that'll come out and play against me, but I wouldn't call myself an expert. I'm not really going around and mopping the floors with people or nothing like that, right? So I appreciate that. AP 52 is cool, man. That's just the way it is. I mean, Cerebral Paul, who's been one of the hosts, I can tell you that he struggles with a lot of games because of his dexterity, because of his cerebral palsy, right? But it didn't stop him from coming out and playing the majority of them. Now, there's some games it would be obvious that it just wouldn't jive. But like, let's take fighting games. I'll come out to a fight night like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or what have you, but I suck at those games. Like, I'm going to get my ass kicked all night. If Crispy Bomb was in the chat, Crispy Bomb was going to kick my ass. Lots of guys out there kick my ass in those fighting games. I'm not very good at half of those games. But, we could do a sports. We've never done it in the past, but we could potentially do a sports community game night. I'm pretty sure you could probably do some of those sports games. You could almost do like a 5-on-5, where people would control one team and people on another. I think you could do it that way. That would be quite interesting too. That would be kind of fun actually. But yeah, no, I'm sure we'll have Mortal Kombat in there and some of the top fighters. Most likely some Killer Instinct or whatever. So like I said, the weeks we got 4 Sundays in a month essentially, right? So one Sunday is going to be like a shooter night. The second Sunday or whatever, the next Sunday is going to be like a racer night. And the next Sunday, so essentially the nights will be broken into themes. So that way everybody kind of remembers that that's the kind of games we're going to play, And yeah, I mean, sometimes there's crossplay in there as well. But the problem with the crossplay is the microphone usage. You can't communicate with people across the other platform in most cases. I'm not saying in all cases, but a lot of games you can't. And because community game nights are run through Xbox Live party chats, that's where it gets difficult, right? You can do custom match. Yeah, you can do custom matches in Modern Warfare 3. I'll have to get another copy of Modern Warfare 3 before I can put that one on the list because I do not have it right now. Can you use Discord? No, I'm not going at the Discord stuff. It's got to be Xbox Live chats, guys, or I'm not running computer shit and doing OBS, and I'm not streaming this crap. It's a community game night. Sorry, if somebody wants to stream it while we're playing, fine. But I am not getting into that stuff where I got to be bouncing through computer screens and stuff like that, man. No, sorry, not going at that. It's going to be Xbox Live chats. You got to be in the chat. Or at least in the lobby. If you don't have a microphone, that's fine too. Although I prefer people to have mics because it kind of ruins the vibe when you're sitting there and people ain't chatting. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, some of those games they're cross-play, and that's fine. But again, I prefer them to be set to one platform because we are playing the community, and again, it's all about the chatting. It's about the communication side of it as well. So it's not just playing the games, but I want people to be able to, have fun and joke around and all that sort of stuff, right? So, yeah, but definitely, I think we're gonna have fun if we can get a good turnout for this. I think it's gonna be fantastic. But I'd like to see some consistency. So it's very important for the first month, to be there as much as you can to support. But I'm gonna basically do a list of games. I want to make sure that the list of games that everybody knows what they are, so that way people can have them downloaded in advance, have them ready to go. And don't forget, even though you have a Series X, don't forget you can still plug in a lot of these games you can just use them on a USB hard drive and just use them that way. It's only the Series X stuff where you're looking at the load times, but you can load all those games off an external, guys. That's another thing. So don't think that you have all these games that we're going to play have got to be natively stored on your Series X or your Series S. They can be on like I said, on a USB hard drive. It's not that big a deal. If it's a little bit more loading, that's fine. The main thing is as long as we can get everybody together, right? So yeah. So never play Halo against R Rob. He's too good. Well, there's no doubt about R Rob is pretty damn good at Halo. But like that's the thing. I said it before. You're gonna have some people that are really good at certain games, and that's fine. And there's gonna be some people that aren't so good. But we'll try to make the teams fair. We'll mix it up a lot. That's the beauty of a community game. That we don't just like, well, put four of the best people on one team and they just take on all the noobs, right? Like we switch it up. We make sure that everybody gets a chance to play with different people. And we play different game modes. It's not always stuck to playing the one game mode that everybody's like, this one guy is really, well, I won't play unless I play in Team Snipers. No, we don't do that shit either, right? We mix it up. If the scores are getting really lopsided to one side, we'll switch it around, that sort of thing. That's the beauty of community game night, right? We can talk, we can have fun, and we make sure that everybody's just hanging out and having a great time. But again, I can't stress the rules enough. The language is paramount. We can't have all the F bombs or any racial shit or religious shit or political shit. None of that shit. Shit's okay once in a while. Like even the word shit. Ah, shit! I just died. But we don't want sore losers. We don't want sooky people in there. Oh well, I can't fucking do this game, man. You guys are fucking pissing me off. That guy's cheating piece of shit. That's no good, right? Iceman, I can tell you he's awesome at Gears, right? Iceman is he's pretty damn good at Halo 2, but Iceman is damn good at Gears. Most people that are in here, the dates and times again, AP, we are going to be they're going to start on Sunday. So the first Sunday of February. So that's going to be the 4th. That's all you got to keep in mind. It's going to be every Sunday of every month, unless otherwise notified. Looking for a co-host as well that can take up the mantle for the few weeks or times I might not be able to do it. Sore loser, Phil. But that means I'm out. I'm too big of a big baby. The hell? What are you talking about, Seamus? You're not usually whiny. Yeah, man, but that's it. It's just about having fun coming out. Nobody's counting the wins and losses, and nobody's counting the kill death ratio and stuff like that. I just want to have a good time. Want to play different games. So, like I said, it's going to be February the 4th. It's on a Sunday. We'll be starting at 7 Eastern. That's 5 Mountain. That's 6 Central, and I think that's like 5 Pacific. Or no, if it's 5 Mountain, then it's like 4 Pacific, I think. So there's your time zones. Now there's always good players, and most of us, from the previous community game nights, we know each other well enough now. We kind of have a gist of where the skill levels are at and stuff like that. So, Seamus, I don't know if you're I don't know. I haven't played enough. I played enough games with you. I've never played a lot of community games at nights with you, but to me, I don't know if you've never been a sore loser to me. I mean, I don't know. So, but it's just about having fun, right? And if you can't hack it, I mean, if it's all about just winning and like I said, kill death ratios and all this kind of stuff, then community game nights are probably not going to be for you. Because we're just here to have fun. It's not about taking it too seriously. You know what I mean? So, and I try to even out the teams and make it fair. Just like I said, you can't be afraid to try new games or play games that, traditionally you haven't always been that great at. That's how you get better. Is you get better. And the best thing about community game nights is you're not worrying about guys who spent like 10 hours a day playing that same game. Like most people are pretty even keel and on the same skill level kind of thing. And we're not MLG players. We don't make a living playing it, that sort of stuff. So that's the beauty. Like I've it's always good. You don't really seem to worry about cheaters. The majority of us are on console, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, you just gotta do Fiesta or do the rocket launchers, and there's always game modes and there's matches too that work out really good. Like I said, I don't know if you can do private matches on Fortnite, but I think that would be really cool. if you could do like a private island or even some team deathmatch on Fortnite, even something like that would be really cool. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with community game nights. I'm gonna compile together a list of games, and with the community support and feedback again, Redfall co-op, like one of the nights could be simply a co-op night. So we play a variety of games together co-op. So maybe there's 16 of us, uh, in the party, and we're all playing Redfall. So we got 4 guys on one game, 4 on another, but we're all playing the same game inside a community game night. But we're all just hanging out and chatting, having a good time, and playing some co-op stuff too. I think that would be really cool. Um, and there might be that occasional week where again the turnout is bad and we have to alternate the games. So maybe we got 3 people or 4 people that show up. So we'll do a lobby and play some other people, or we'll maybe we'll switch to a co-op game. Maybe it'll be like a 4-player hack and slash, or it'll be 4-player like Diablo or Streets of Rage or something like that. Where you get your 2 to 3 people or players on screen, or a Ninja Turtles night. 4 players and go kick some ass. So there's lots of room sort of to improvise games, but the biggest thing is knowing what games we're going to play so that everybody has them downloaded and updated when the nights come. So, right? If Keeley comes in the game, that can we tear his ass up? Well, it'd be pretty cool to have a big name come to community game. If we could get a legitimate big name over to community game night, it would certainly put a lot of eyes on what we're doing. And and I've had this said in the past too, that not everybody's doing these things. And if we could get some great traction in community game nights and make it more of a universal thing and just get more than just the people that come to my podcast. I mean, this is a shout out to everybody that's doing podcasts. Maybe some night it'd be great to do a community game night with podcast versus podcast, and different people versus different people. I remember at one point, and shout out to Mav or Fun Speculation, from the Ultimate Gaming podcast on Friday nights, like Xbox Ultimate, sorry, podcast on Friday nights. Like he used to do after he used to end that show, and he used to do it was like a community game, and after that show, we used to play Halo all the time. And I don't know what happened. Everybody was there regularly, and it was so good. And then that just kind of dried up. Um, you know, and sometimes, unfortunately, what happens is you start to get, sometimes you get new people into the community, and new people are definitely welcome. I encourage it. But every once in a while, you get like that new person that comes in, and they're trying to be, I don't know, they're trying to be cocky, or they're trying to be something, or they're trying to get attention, and they come in and they're just mouthpieces, and they sort of ruin the vibe for every time, uh, the vibe for people. So those are things I want to make sure I nip in the bud. And yeah, well, I mean, we're there to have fun, but we need this also the toxic, yeah, the toxic shit. Like a guy will jump in and like, you fucking crap, man, and blah blah blah, and um, there's some of that creeps in every once in a while. But again, it's few and far between, right? The main thing is to spot the person or people that are jumping into community game nights. Um, Generally, a lot of people that in the past that have been in my community game nights are generally people that are I'm friends with, or they watch my podcast. So I've rarely had trouble with it personally, because I generally know most of the people that want to come out and play. It's usually the ones that when I jump into somebody else's community game and they're kind of surrounded by people I don't know, or they're outside of the circle that I'm in, essentially, right? So they come in, and sometimes it can get toxic. We don't need people coming in and shouting the N word, you know what I mean? That sort of stuff, or anything else. We don't need people dropping the F word. I'm not talking about just the FUCK, but the FAGs all the time, right? I'm sorry. There's better words you use all the time than killing someone. The guy's going, you're you're a fag, right? This kind of crap all the time. Like, find a better word. You're more intelligent than that. We don't need that shit, right? We're just there to have fun, man. Like, and have, um, you can call someone a douche canoe, or your toolbox, or know, your grindhouse granny or something like that. You know what I mean? Um, there's lots of creative ways that you can still take a shot at someone during a community game, man. Heck, it's encouraged on it. A little bit of shit talk is okay, right? It just depends on how you're saying it and if you're having fun, and we're not offending people. And like I said, nothing worse than doing community game nights and all of a sudden you got people just dropping from the game and from the party, and they don't even tell you why. They're not like, "Hey man, I'm going because I'm going to get dinner." They're just playing the game, and all of a sudden they're gone. And it's usually not because their internet cut out. It's because somebody said something they didn't like it, and they just go, right? So yeah. But I'm really excited, man. Like, I wouldn't be doing this podcast right now if I wasn't excited. I could tell from the fact I've already got 14 amazing people here. Cletus or somebody could definitely make a community game night. I wouldn't rule it out. But they'll try to be keeping it on the down low. More their conversations will be related to what they see in the game as opposed to questions and stuff that they normally do on the Gaming Fuse. The rage quitters. Yeah, and that goes for me too, man. Like, sometimes I know I can rage pretty hard on a game, but I mean, as a host, I can't be the guy quitting it. I've got to stay through to the bitter end. But I'm going to take my own advice, and I want to have fun, and I've always had fun. I mean, it's only probably every once in a while, I've kind of lost my shit or my cool, but for the most part, it's pretty good. I think as long as I got a half decent internet connection and I'm not, nothing bugs me more sometimes than, a certain player constantly getting your number, no matter how much you shoot that person just owns your ass. And so what's going on here? Like, I'm shooting this person and they're one-shotting me constantly, that sort of stuff. But no, it'll be a good time, and I'm really looking forward to it. Can't wait, guys. Again, that's February the 4th on a Sunday. And whether you can be there for minute 1 or you're there for minute 40 or you come in 2 hours after the fact, like I said, we generally do in community game events, we do 1, if not 2 games. Any more than 2 is tough, but it's generally 1 or 2 games. So you usually go a couple hours on one game and perhaps a couple hours on the other. So it just gives people more variety. It opens up the audience because I don't know if you guys want to do it that way. If you want to have like a set, say it's like a shooter night. So say the first night you're doing Titanfall 2, and then you're doing a Halo. And then the next week it's like a racing night. And the next week it's like a fighting night. And the next week it could be a miscellaneous board game / co-op style night. I don't know if you prefer to do it like that, or you prefer to have it like we're doing Halo and say we're doing Forza. And then the next week we're doing Gears and we're doing Titanfall. And the next week we're doing I don't know, like what is the Party Animals and Rocket League or something? You know what I mean? Like a different switch up, or just kind of keep the weekly themes going, right? Sometimes the thing with that is I'm just curious, like, am I going to do a community game night and everybody comes out for the shooter nights and then nobody shows up for the other nights? Many of us here play more than one style of game, right? So hopefully we'll get multiple people out for multiple games. That's hopefully the thing as well. So, what's going on, Talos Ray? Good to see you here, my friend. Lots of great people in the chat tonight. AP, XRP, Iceman is here. Mary and the Mad hanging out with us. Timmy is in the building. We got Seamus Kelly hanging out with us tonight. Jason Max is here as well. Lots of great people in the chat. Thank you guys for your love and support, especially for supporting the Gaming Fuse. And I can't guarantee that all the games are going to be on Game Pass. I'll try my best. I would say there's a good chance that most of the ones I've already even mentioned are probably there already. So it should be pretty good. I'm going to try to keep most of them to Game Pass. However, like I said, if we're doing a Call of Duty night until they come to Game Pass right now, I think like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, I think are still are not on Game Pass. So there are certain games you may need to buy digitally, buy physically, whatever, or unfortunately we won't be able to play certain games, right? But we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'll get the list of games together and I'll share them out with everybody. And I'll try to let everybody at least know. You'll know at least a week in advance. So as long as you're following me on Twitter, I'll be posting that out there. And I'm gonna try to reset up. Are you guys anybody here on your Xbox? Are you following or signed up for the community event page on your Xbox? It's like an app. because I had the community game nights on there before, and that's where we'd put down what games and the times and stuff. I'll try to get that going as well, so that way the reminders are always on your Xbox or what we're playing and when. Make sure you download that from your Xbox and stay in a loop, I guess. End of the day. So yeah, but good stuff. And I don't really have any more. Do you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions? Please leave them in the chat right now. That would be fantastic. So I don't want to keep you guys much longer. It's a Sunday, and I've only got a few more hours left in this day before I gotta, go back to bed and get up and, work and pay my bills again. So all that sort of shit. So if you got any questions or any comments about community game night, now is the time to drop them. If you're not sure, I am on both. I'm on Series X and I'm on the Xbox One X. But it's kind of irrelevant. As long as it's Xbox, you should be able to play all the games. The downside, if you're still on the older hardware, especially the Xbox One or the One X or the One S, you're going to have some issue with load times on certain games, obviously. So if some players are not playing, are they welcome in the party chat? That's a great question. I'm going to say yes, but if the party fills up, if we got 16 players, like for example, I prefer if we got 16 people in the party, we're all playing the same game. So, as long as there's room, but that's that sort of thing. Just playing Halo Horde mode. Cool, man. Cool. Most of these games, no, most of the games I think we're going to be playing, I think are compatible with all Xbox versions. Right, the majority of them have 2 versions. I think they're good to go. So we'll definitely figure that out as we go along. But I think the majority of them are. I think a lot of the games I already mentioned, I think were already released on the Xbox One, so they should work on just about anything. I think in terms of maybe the sports games, like we did an NHL 24 night, I mean, I have the Xbox Series X version, which I think is crossplay with PS5, but I don't think it's backwards compatible with the older stuff. I don't think. But yeah, the load times would be the biggest drawback if you're still on the older hardware. I would imagine that the majority of you guys in this chat right now are playing at least on the Xbox S, at least, which shouldn't be a problem either way. So yeah, guys, that's where we're at. That's all I can tell you about community game night. But I'm super excited to bring it back. If anybody that's in the chat right now would like to become, say, a co-host, and the co-hosting duty is only for the weeks that I can't make it. So if you're interested in being a co-host, let me know, because what it is, if I can't make it on a Sunday, you'll have the list of games, and all you got to do is fire up the Xbox Live Party, get the game going, and let people jump in. It's that simple, right? The community app, it's the events app. If you go to Xbox and you go to the events app, it's where you join the groups or whatever. I think I have one on there, and I think it's already called. I think it's Xbox Community Game Night. I think it's already on there, something like that. So I'll clarify that again, or send me a message on Xbox. I assume that everybody here right now that's in this chat, does everybody have me added to Xbox Live? Because if you don't, guys, it's pretty simple. If you don't have me on there and you're not sure if we're actually friends on Xbox Live, just nuke them. That's it. My logo is kind of what you see behind me, the Newfoundland flag kind of thing with the nuclear explosion or whatever kind of stuff. So, yeah, so that's my gamer tag. I just wrote it in the chat. Make sure you add me. And when you're adding me, make sure you send a message. At least say hi. Because if you're just adding me, sometimes I might not always know that you've actually added me, and it should probably add you back. So that's kind of it. For those of you who are on perhaps the Nintendo Switch or PlayStation or wonder perhaps what will happen there, I'm certainly open to suggestions, and I won't rule it out. I would love to have community game night, based on the Switch or on the PlayStation, but the interest has to be there, and it's definitely a lot tougher on the Switch because they don't really have a party chat system or anything to kind of go off of. So it's a little more definitely tougher. So yeah, no sex bots. Sorry. But that's about it. We're getting ready to wrap this up. Want to wish everybody a fantastic Sunday. Again, keep that in mind. Starts again at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 7 p.m. Eastern on February the 4th on a Sunday will be night number 1. Chances are the first game of the night is probably going to be Titanfall 2, followed by most likely one of the Halos, I think, or perhaps a racing game. We're not sure. But I'll confirm that with you here soon. That is the initial date. Let's go for a big turnout. Let's get lots of interest going again. Spread the word, share it around. And we'll go from there. So just jump in the live chat on those nights. There'll be an open party. You see me online, it's community game night. You just jump in and say, "Hey, Noob, I'm here for community game night," and let's roll. That's all there is to it. You can't sit there and I don't want to have to sit there and have to send 50,000 invites. It's easier for you guys if you're interested in game night to just jump in my party than me having to scroll down through my entire friends list and send you a message going, "Do you want to play?" If you know the game is ready, boot it up, jump in. That's that simple. I can't make it any simpler. But yeah, Titanfall 2 is awesome. Make sure you get that loaded up, preloaded. It's not a huge download for that one. I think you can download the whole thing in like 30 gigs or less, I think, on Titanfall 2. It's not huge at all. The game plays amazing. It's a ton of fun. To me, it's way better than Apex Legends will ever be. And the King, what's going on, brother? Good to see you here. And looking forward to it. Like I said, community game nights. For those of you who've played community game nights, you know that they're absolute blast. We've had a ton of fun. We've had made great memories. We've made friends, and looking forward to bringing it back. It's going to be a ton of fun. Liverpool is the best. What's going on, brother? Good to see you here in the chat. And who knows? Maybe we'll inspire Mr. Tushy and Animated Evil to get back on their community game night, the UK community game night, and that'll carry over into the North America and so on and so forth. So we'll see what happens. But until then, until February the 4th, have yourself a great night. I hope I'll see some of you in the chat on Monday night for the Gaming Fuse podcast, where I'll kind of be just going over some of these details again. But that's, oh, God, why am I so tired? But that's it for today, everybody. Have yourself a Titanfall 2. Great question. I'm not sure if Titanfall 2, I think it is. I'm pretty sure Titanfall 2 is on Game Pass, if I'm correct, because it's under the EA stuff. So I'm pretty sure Titanfall 2 is. And like I said, I will take that in consideration too for the games that we pick, because hopefully the majority of them will be on Game Pass, because I know a lot of you guys have Game Pass Ultimate. And I can tell you one great game you should definitely download. It probably would take you like 2 minutes to do it. I don't think it takes up any more than 5 gigs of memory, if that. Is Joyride Turbo. It's a kart racing game in the vein of Mario Kart, but it is done with avatars from your old Xbox days, and it's a ton of fun. It's simple to play. That's another fantastic community game night game to put on the list. And I can't wait till the Activision Blizzard thing is finalized, because hopefully we'll get all those games, and Crash Team Racing will most likely be one of those games added to the list once it becomes available to everybody. So there you have it, people. There you go. And our Rob says it is on Game Pass. So get that Titanfall 2 ready to go. It's an amazing game. So much fun to play with your friends. And we'll go from there. Will there be Call of Duties on there? Perhaps. Could be some older title Call of Duties. The 360 stuff is great because we can go and play some old school maps. And, the best thing about downloading the 360 Call of Duties, you can download them in like 2 minutes, because all those games, even with the DLC, they're like less than 20 gigabytes. They're nothing at all, right? So we'll see where we're at, but that's about it. So anyway, thanks to everybody for coming out and checking out this special presentation of the updates on Community Game Night. Look forward to seeing you all again on February the 4th. And up until then, have yourself a great Sunday, and we'll see you Monday night on the Gaming Fuse. Take care, everybody. Have yourself a great Sunday.